Jackie, hi.
Hey, how are you, Eric?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good indeed. Jackie, so we're here today to really talk about your experience on the one-day accelerator workshop that enables personal trainers to be able to create, market, and put themselves in a position where they can sell the high-ticket program. So we're going to talk about that in a fat loss program. And we're going to talk about your experience of that and how you have found it and what results you've had so far. But before we get into that, maybe just give us, for people listening that don't know you, just a little bit about your background, first of all,
Okay. Well,
and where you're from as well.
okay. Actually, I'm from Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S. I am a registered nurse. So a lot of background there. I've done the whole gamut of nursing, been in nursing over 25 years
Mhm.
already, been in management. Most of my career, I've been a manager, director of nursing, all that, the management piece of nursing. Um, Wanted to do something else. So I've had a lot of flexibility in my nursing career, actually, when I was able to work as a consultant. So I was able to kind of demand my own salary, even in that. But I was kind of getting burned out a little bit and just kind of wanted to just bring my own thing. I've always been an entrepreneur, always been doing something on my own. So I felt like I wanted to bring my nursing experience home and just kind of do something else. So that's when I started, due to my own health challenges, I wanted to, after I was able to get that under control, I've gone through a lot, major surgeries about 11 times. I've been to a point for about 20 years of my life, I've been ill and under the doctor's care, back and forth to the hospitals. And it's been just a lot. So I wanted to, once I started changing my health habits and getting some help to do that, once I was able to get in the gym and really work out again, I was just very inspired by the whole personal training deal. And so I had a coach who helped me train, and she was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went from her to another coach, and he was great as well. But I really got inspired. I wanted to do that as well, but in my own style, my own way, to bring my nursing background in it as well. And I felt with the two of those, with my nursing background and becoming a personal trainer, I watched a lot of people suffer with their weight and just their health overall. You know, I'm a nurse, so I want people to be healthy, I want you to look good and feel good inside and out. So that's the reason I took on as a personal trainer. I really am a new personal trainer, so it's really only been about a year and a half since I've been a personal trainer, even though I was kind of on my own doing a little training in the gym, just kind of helping people because they saw how serious I was in the gym and would always ask me to help them. So I said, well, I need to go ahead and get a certificate and do it the right way. So I did that. And I'm also a nutritionist. So I believe that you can't just do personal training. You need good, healthy diet and eating properly. So I got the both. So that's kind of how I got started here. So that's where I am today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And in terms of how you and I first met, because that was a little bit unusual, maybe just talk just a little bit about how we actually met before we started working together. Just give us a quick sort of heads up on that.
Okay, so let me bring it back a little bit. So once I got all my certificates, I said, I'm going to start my own company, actually, my own program. So I got my own program. I did all the proper business things I needed to start my own company and my own fitness program, and I did. So, but I didn't have help to know what to do, what it took to run a fitness company or fitness business. So I just did the best I could. I just started looking up things, and I started going online and just see what other people were doing, went and did all of that. So I had a little something going on. Then I started piloting with some close friends of mine, just kind of getting them on the program, getting through it, and had some really great results. Had people to lose anywhere from 20 to 70, 80 pounds in my first year of being a trainer. Yeah, thank you. So I did do that. And so I really wanted to get more serious about it because I felt there was a lot of things, that was kind of piloting. My friends were very generous and very gracious to me with my bumps and all the things I was going through. But I want to really get more serious so I can bring in another group of people. I wanted to really reach the masses, and I know I needed to tighten up my program in order to do that. So I started, even though I got mostly everything together on the business side, I still needed more of that fitness understanding of how to really launch the business in the fitness arena.
Yeah, sure.
So I was working on my website one day and I'm like, okay, this doesn't, because I was working on everything myself. And so I put it together pretty good. I said, no, I really want a more professional look. So I went on Fiverr just to kind of reach out to some people. And I was asking, you know, you have the experience in doing websites? And I got a lot of responses from them on Fiverr, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm very skeptical and, you know, about who I'm working with. And I don't know you, even though I know you on Fiverr. I start vetting everybody. I start asking tons of questions and, oh my God, I took them through the ringer for like 3 days, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I met this young man online and he seemed to kind of get my attention more because he kept at me. He didn't stop. He said, I can do this, whatever you need, I can do it. Yeah. So again, I'm vetting people. I'm not trusting him yet. So let me just see. I said, well, send me all the websites that you put together so far, or that you help someone to create the websites. And so it took him a minute to respond. And so then my antennas are going, I said, why is it taking him so long if he had work to do? So he sent me several websites that he said that he had done. Yep. And for some reason, I started clicking on them and I said, now this is too professional. I don't believe he did this one. And this one is. And so then, because he knew, somehow he must have looked me up and found that I was in a fitness space. He sent me a fitness one, which caught my attention. I said, well, let me see. He went back and found someone in fitness. Maybe he just grabbed that website just so he can. I was very, very uncomfortable with this. Yeah. So anyway, I started looking up this website. It was the only fitness website that someone had sent me. Mm-hmm. So of course, I'm going to look at that one and see what he did to create that website for that individual. I went on there. I saw this big purple and white website. I'm looking all through it. I said, it's all right. It's no big deal, but it's all right. I don't believe he did it. You know, I don't believe he did it. So I actually went in and looked the person up, went and found them on Facebook. I would have found them everywhere. And that happened to be Eric. I went on there and looked I said, let me just ask this individual. I literally called some companies to ask them, did this person create your website? But I went on and I got to Eric's website. And I said, okay, this is all right, but let me see, he's in fitness. I went through the site a little bit, not very well, just kind of scan through it a little bit. And then I went into Eric's, I'll find him on Facebook, I think. Then I went into the DM. I said, hey, do you know someone on Fiverr? Did they help create your website? And I emailed that, I texted that out to him. And then he responded like, who?
I'm understanding he, that is me, by the way.
That's you, oh, that's Eric. Eric, that's who it was. It was Eric, he said, who, like what, or whatever. I'm like, see, I knew this wasn't true. But then you began to say, hey, I did use this guy to help me with some aspects of my website. Yes. Okay, I said, all right then, fine. So that's kind of the beginning of Eric and I, that's the beginning of our relationship. And so from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, I might as well ask some questions. I might as well ask him some questions since he's in this whole, and I saw that you had done quite a bit out there. I was still like, oh, he's not that much, whatever. And I was like downplaying who you were. I'm the big skeptic, I tell you. So then I asked a couple questions. So then you were generous enough to set up a call with me. He said, well, let's just talk. Maybe you have any questions, let's just talk. And so now I understand that, but I didn't know then. I just thought you were being nice and you know, okay. So we set up the call, we started talking. I explained to you why I reached out to you and all that. And you just kind of explained, you didn't feed into that too much. You just got right to what can I do maybe to help you? What is it that you need? And I started explaining that I am really looking for some help. I just started with the website, but I'm interested in knowing now, since you're in this space, how do you do or what do you do? And then I think we set up more of a conversation around that. Yes. And from that point, that just kind of evolved into the relationship we have today. Yeah. Which, you know, it's so amazing how things work. And because I'm a spiritual believing person, I prayed for every aspect and every step I took that he would allow me to meet the right people and put the right connections in my life. And the way this happened, I knew when we started talking that it was a godsend for me. Didn't really know all your credentials and what you did, but I just knew that I felt right. So from that point, we just developed this amazing relationship.
Because it was quite funny to me that when you said to me that you'd looked at the site and then you thought, oh, this guy, whatever. And then you said you went back and had another look and thought, oh, wait a minute, there could be something in this. What was it that you saw on the site that made you think I might know a bit more than not much?
No, right? So when I scanned through the first time, I'm like, okay, this is all right. He's a fitness person. And I didn't go through everything. But when I went back, because I start, and like, oh my God, he is somebody. He's done quite a bit in this space. He's been recognized by some amazing people. He is, been featured in this and that. And then I began to really, see how credible you were. And that made a huge, and then I immediately felt guilty and I started apologizing like crazy for downplaying who you were. And I felt so bad because I didn't really know. And I just kept saying, I'm so sorry. I can see that you did. And so from that point, and you were so cool with it. You didn't say, you were just very professional and very cool with that. I'm just like, downplayed you so terribly. I'm still sorry for that.
What's funny about this is I, like you also, when I see things, because there's a lot of people out there that will say things, put things online, because it's online.
Yeah.
Is that really true? Have they really done that? Have they really made that much money? Is that really them in that picture? So I completely get why you'd be like that. So again, I had no issue with that whatsoever. I thought that was absolutely fine. So from that conversation then, we spoke a little bit and I described what the program was. And you're also working with, and still are, I believe, working with a couple of coaches. So just tell me a little bit about where you were before you started trying to create this high ticket program with the people you were working with and what was going on there.
Okay. So I actually, because my network, my connections has really expanded in the people that I met over this past, not even quite a year, about a year. Mm-hmm. And I, am on a social media platform where I meet a lot of amazing people. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're from all over the world. They have various levels of expertise in their arena. They're very successful business people, sure. Most of them. Yeah. And so since I've been on that platform, I have met some amazing people, mm-hmm. And actually the two coaches that I have now, both female, one is in Canada, mm-hmm. and the other girl is here in the States. And one girl I'm completely taken by because she's a great public speaker, African-American girl. I mean, just have a lot of credibility in who she is. She's sure. written books and she has her own thing going. So I wanted that type of coach to help me develop myself as a speaker, as being able to show up and be polished and all that. So I started coaching with her. Mm-hmm. Then there was another lady who I love her from Canada. She's a Caucasian woman and just amazing. She has had a stroke. And so her ability to communicate is difficult. And she has to think about everything she says, but she's brilliant. And I'm like, I need her in my life. I really do. Sure. And so the one person who was the personal developer kind of polished me up. This girl helps with business as well. She can help you. She's helped a lot of people make a lot of money, done very well in her space. Yeah. But she was fairly new at doing that craft and getting other clients in, like individuals like me. She worked with other companies and stuff. So I loved her because she was just genuine. Yeah. And with her disability, she had so much ability to do so much. Yes. And I just really was taken by her. So now to come up to where I decided to coach with you and to take on your program was because even though they were amazing, they didn't have that whole fitness understanding. I'm in the fitness arena. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can get polished and yes, we can do this and we can do that. But since I'm in this arena, yeah. I need a coach. I need a program to help me be successful in this. Yeah. So I needed this to work very well. So that is why I'm like, this will work. And that is why I chose, after vetting you as well, after going through all of that, I felt that mainly after we had spoken and you were really serious about what you do, I was comfortable with that. I'm all about, let's get it done. I am not slow to do things. I want to move. I want to go. Yeah. And you brought that to me. And so that's why I chose you.
Okay. So let's just talk, and thank you for sharing that. Let's just talk a little bit about the coaching space generally. So I have been in this space for a while, as indeed you are now sort of getting into it. And there are programs out there that I've been involved in, some good, some bad, some ugly, and everything else in between. And often the promise is that you'll go on a 90-day program, you'll work out who your avatar is, you'll then create your program, your offering, you'll then learn how to market and learn how to sell all of that. And typically in the market space, it's about 90 days. Every now and then you may hear 30 days, which sounds incredibly quick and might sound like that's a scam. You can't possibly do all that in 30 days. Yet here I am saying to you, I'm going to help you to create something, take it to market, and get you in a position where you could potentially sell it in 1 day. Not in 30 days, not 90 days, but we're going to do it in like 1 day. You're going to do a little bit of pre-training, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But then my promise to you was at the end of day one, effectively 7-8 hours that we're talking about, that you'd be in a position to be able to launch to your social media platform your program. So just tell me a little bit about, because you say you like to research everything, was there a degree of skepticism about what I was saying that we could do or not?
Actually, since I had not had experience with any other programs to help me,
okay,
you were actually the first. But my first anything, I'm skeptical about it because I don't know whether or not it will work. But here's the one thing that I do. I don't need a lot of time to trust you. I don't need a lot of times to trust you in the sense of once I feel in my gut that this is right, my guards come down.
Right.
They come down, and then I trust the process and I trust the individual. So you did have to explain things to me first.
Yeah.
And that was good. But once I felt your genuineness in this conversation that we had, I felt that I'm going to go ahead and do this with him.
Okay.
Whether it worked or not, I didn't know if it would.
Sure.
I had never heard that before. I did think that time span was very short. I did.
Yeah.
But I believe in you. I really did believe in you. And if you could get me to, and then I believe in me.
Yes.
Because I'll work as hard as you will work for me.
Yeah.
And so I believed in you. I believed in me. If you said 1 day, I know it seems hard for most people, but I believed in that. And you said it, and here we are.
Yeah. So, okay. So, and one of the things that I know about all personal trainers, whether they are new to the profession, whether they've been doing it a few years, or whether they're seasoned veterans for 10, 20 years, doesn't really matter. They already have, and I say this, I've said it numerous times to trainers in the past when I've mentored and coached people, you already have the fitness qualifications you need, you already have the nutritional information, you already have the mindset stuff already in your head. It's just a question now of getting that out of your head, simplifying that, structuring that, packaging it, pricing it, and getting out the door, because you already have that stuff. But what most trainers I find struggle with is trying to get that information out of their heads into a way that somebody could actually want to buy it. So let's just talk about the program and where you are now. So initially, the program is made up of 3 parts. You've got the preparation phase, the implementation, which was the 1 day, and then you've got the follow-up coaching, which we've yet to do. So I gave you some proprietary work to do to get you ready for that implementation day. And I gave you that information. Just talk a little bit about what happened there.
You have to, no. You have been spot on with providing me the things that I needed to get this program going. But because of my schedule, I'm a full-time director of nursing. I have like no time and I'm literally up. And because I just stepped into the role, I had a lot of things coming into me at one time. So I had this program starting, my new position starting, all that. So you gave me the information. Unfortunately, the day before we had to meet, I started looking at it like that week, but I really didn't get a chance to really implement and do all the homework that was given me until that day before. And mind you, that night before, I didn't have any sleep.
Yeah.
I didn't have any sleep because our payroll went in. We had a lot of things to do on my job. So I'm like, but I have to do this. You know, I look at it like I've stayed up for things before that didn't pay me anything. I've done some work and spent all my time on things that didn't profit me anything. I knew this was important. In my mind, I was like, I got to cancel. I need to cancel this because I'm not ready. I was saying all that in my mind. So no, I am going to do it. I literally just laid down a couple hours prior to, and then I got back up and then in the night and I just got at it. But of course, if you're running on low fuel, you can't perform at your best.
Sure.
I did the best I could on the time I gave, you know, but I managed to get a lot done. I managed to bring some things together, but I didn't do everything that should have been done, you know? So, but I did show up. I did show up and we went through it. Yeah. And it was amazing. On top of that, I was like sleepy, but I didn't fall asleep. I did, you know, and you know, the material was so great though. I was so glad to get this. And this was just good. See here, I didn't mention this, and this was important to me. Even though I had a program and you recognize I had some things together already, I never had it validated that it was good or that it could work or anything. I had no one to look at it to tell me that. Yeah. So when you were able to see that, even in the short time I've been in this space, you were able to say, wow, you got this together, you have this together, and you have that together. That was like music to my ears just to know that I'm on the right track.
Yeah, sure.
And so the fact that you were able to validate that for me, that said, okay, I can do this thing. Yeah. So I was really glad about that.
Yeah. So that's interesting for anybody listening then, because yes, I send the materials out ahead of time just to get people in the best possible space, because the thinking behind that training is that when people turn up for the implementation day, I want it to be all about what we're implementing today. We've dealt with some of the financial questions, we've dealt with some of the mindset stuff, which I think you quite liked, about how, you know, I gave you the example of the bottle factory and about selling the watch. So all of those things that we do just to prepare ourselves emotionally, financially, the activity schedule, so that when you come on the day, your mind is focused on implementing, not thinking about things that maybe should have been done or things that maybe hadn't even been addressed that might be playing in your mind. So it was all about implementation. So I would say you probably got through what, 50, 60, 70% of the homework? How much would you say percentage wise?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get to watch all the videos. I did review all of the documents and go through all of that. I just didn't get a chance to do all of the videos. And I think it was some things I missed. I would say maybe like 60% of all the stuff you gave me to do, I was able to complete, but.
Yeah. So, and that's interesting again for anybody listening to this. So the fact you weren't able to complete that, we still went ahead, but we did the implementation day. So let's talk about the implementation day itself then. So we've established you've got good knowledge already. I mean, you're a nurse. And again, it always surprises me that people that come into our profession as personal trainers, they've had past experience, be it a nurse, be it an accountant, be it a landscape gardener, it doesn't matter what it is. What you bring is life skills. And I think sometimes in the personal training world, we put more of a premium on the ability to be able to do good bicep curls or know everything about nutrition, but we put very little premium on our ability to communicate with people and be human. And ultimately, if we're going to coach people, that's the premium skill that we need. All the rest of it, of course, you can do a bicep curl. Of course, you know nutrition. You may know it better than somebody else, but can you communicate? So we started off on that day. Just talk me through how you felt during that day and the way we went through that day and how we sort of crafted out your 12-week program and how we crafted out your sessions. Just talk a little bit about that maybe.
Yeah, I think that was such an amazing experience. In the midst of how tired I already was, I still was able to grasp information. I thought it was just amazing that in that short time that we could cover all of the things that we covered from the beginning to the end, and it's not the end, but just to where we ended, to be able to start this implementation process, go over my program, to be able to have a 12-week program already. 12-week program. I'm just blown away by that we were able to, but you helped me stay focused, and you just kept bringing me back, onto what we needed to do. Okay, let's discuss this, session one, just all of that. That experience was overwhelming. Yeah, it was. But at the end of it, I could see results. And that's what, I don't care how overwhelming the thing is. I mean, life is overwhelming. We're in a pandemic, that's overwhelming. My job is overwhelming. But at the end of the day, what do the results look like? And from us being able to take it from, let's starting a program, take it all the way to 12 weeks, and then to implement that right there, Eric, I can't explain that. I mean, it was just so amazing to be able to do that, and the process in which to do it, I'm getting it too.
Brilliant. So let's just talk. You mentioned results there, and one of the reasons, and we'll get into your results thus far where you're at. But one of the reasons or one of the things I try and explain to trainers when I'm working with newbies or experienced ones for that matter, is there are different types of coaches out there. You have a generalist, and by the way, I should preface this by saying I think any coach is good. I think we need coaches. But you have generalist coaches that may coach a fitness guy, may coach a hairdresser, may coach somebody selling cars. They know the principles of coaching. And then you have what I call specialist coaches, like health and fitness coaches. So they might be working with, on a program, a boot camper, a massage therapist, a nutritionist, a chiropractor, which is great. But what I've found is that sometimes information can be a little bit diluted because the person teaching is trying to facilitate and give information to different sectors of the market. So the way that I positioned this, I think, to you was, it's a little bit like a franchise, but it's got your name above the door, and there are no contracts because it's yours, and there are no monthly fees. And the reason we could go through it so quickly is because you've come to someone that's done exactly what you want to do. And we're talking about exactly what you want to talk about. So we weren't having to talk about or talk with other people that are discussing chiropractic or massage. It's very, very specific to what you want. And that's the reason why we're able to go through so quickly in the day, not because we're taking shortcuts or anything like that. So, or you could call them shortcuts. Let's talk about your specific results then and what you've achieved. I mean, I've summarized them here, but maybe you just go through what you've actually, at the end of the day, in fact, before we ended the program, what had you accomplished on the day then? Before, because our last session was Q&A. So again, we started at 06:30 your time, and we finished at, what time did we finish at your time?
Like 1, around 1.
So what's that, 7 hours, something like that?
Yeah, it was like 12:30 going up, probably close to 1. So it was like 6, almost 7.
Okay, so
I know it was 6.5 at least.
So with the pre-training, how many hours was that roughly that you spent?
Let me see, what day did we meet for pre-training?
So the training that you did on your own.
My own training that I did.
The pre
homework assignment training.
Yeah. How many hours did you spend on that roughly?
Oh, I probably spent, and I should have spent more. I would think it would have took me, I would wanted to have spent.
What did you spend? What did you spend?
I probably spent about 3 hours.
Okay, so 3 hours pre, and then 7 hours on the day. So after 10 hours then,
10 hours.
What were your results then after 10 hours?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so after 10 hours pre-training and the live training, I was able to put out on social media, I want to say a call to action. I was able to post a post out there.
Tell us about the picture, because I thought it was funny.
Oh no!
The thing that took us the longest. I think the thing that took the most time in our training was you picking your picture.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody's listening, I'm a girl, and you want the right picture out there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too provocative. You don't want to be too like stoic kind of. You want the right picture to be professional.
Yeah.
When they see you, that can speak to what you're talking about. I didn't have our workout clothes on, so I just had on a blazer and all that. And we kind of kept going back and forth with the pictures. Oh, just put this up. I'm like, no, not that one. And oh my God, this is too short. This is too this. And I went through that whole thing about getting the right picture. I don't even know if it's the right one now, but it's working, whatever. So yeah, the picture thing was most of the time. Yeah. But once I was able to get it up, I put the post up talking about, it was just a one pager, just kind of call to action, not a one page, it was like a call to action. Mm-hmm. I can help you do, I'm looking for women 40 plus that are looking, maybe professional women, that are looking to lose weight, change the way they look and feel in their clothing, etc. Yep. Just a little blurb out there. If you're interested, that's you, DM me, and we'll have a conversation from that point. And I'll send you information. So what time did I put that post out? While we were still talking, I think, right?
Yeah, we did.
We were still right before right at the end of our session. I put that post out there, my picture, the cute one, and then I put the information out there. Yeah. So I left that out there to go. I left actually after that to go eat lunch or whatever. I went out with a friend and we went out. And so I hadn't really looked at the post yet, put it out there, but I had, a friend to respond, someone to respond to it and say that they were interested, send me some information in my DM. And so I like, wow, okay. But then I just kind of left and came back. So by the time I got home, I think it might've been some more. Mm-hmm. And then, it just went on. And then maybe from this morning, I now have 5 people. I don't know now, but early this morning, that's what I had. So I'm amazed that from that time, it's not just people probably, there was a number of people that viewed it and looked at it, but to have just one person respond and say, hey, I'm interested, send me information. That is what you want. That is what I want. So that's what I got. And I probably got that several times. So that was amazing. Yeah, I'm excited.
Fantastic. So just for people, listeners, to sort of summarize what you did in, I guess, 10 hours. I say it's a one-day workshop, but if you want to break it down to hours, so you've created a 12-week program in terms of outlining that program in detail. You've created 4 in detail coaching sessions, which we're going to continue to work on the other 8. You've marketed your program because you had the confidence to do that and put it out there, which I guess somebody listening might be thinking, this it sounds crazy that you can do this, but this is what you've done. And within 2 hours of sending out that first message on social media before we ended the course, because I always get people to do it before we end the course, because that's the promise that I made, that you'll be able to market it before we end. So you had it out there. And today, I think you had 3 DMs in 2 hours, you're telling me. And I think you're up to 5 DMs now.
Yeah.
So yeah. How are you feeling about the whole process? And by the way, the third part of this, we haven't even started the follow-up coaching yet, because there's 3 parts to what I offer. There's the preparation, which you did a bit of, could have done a bit more. You did the implementation day, which is great. You've accomplished all of this, and we've got another series of coaching follow-up calls to do as well, where we'll be covering more detail in your program, the sales and marketing, and a few mastery techniques I'll be teaching as well. So how are you feeling now where you are, and how are you feeling about going forwards with the additional coaching?
Yeah, I feel really, really good about that I have a solid program that I am going to really be able to feel good about. And one of my struggles was that even in pricing things, and I don't know if we're going to talk about that at all, but just pricing things out for my program, I really struggle with that. Yeah. I'm a caregiver by nature, and I'm used to giving away free. Yeah. I did a lot of free, prior to us meeting, just kind of, because I was not confident that what I had would work or it was new. Yeah. So, but once I started having results, I charged people a little bit, still nothing on what the time I put in, but I just kind of thought, I kind of chalked it up as my learning experience as well.
Sure.
So, and, but after sitting with you and we're going through some numbers, I'm like, oh my God. And we went back and forth. We went back and forth with that chick. I'm like, that's too much. Oh my God. I can't charge people that kind of money. And that was difficult for me to do that.
Yeah.
But I literally was able to release that without feeling anything. And I feel that those that see and really want this, I bring the value to it.
Yeah.
And they'll see it as a valuable, solid program, and they can come in, get results if they apply themselves. And there's a saying, I got to think about what that is, but and I like that, because if you see value in what you're going to spend your money on, you'll spend money on it. We all spend money on what we see a value in.
Yeah.
And when people come in, and once I meet with them and show them and talk to them about the value of it, I think the money now is not the issue. No. It's captivating the right audience that really wants to move with it. So
yeah. And I think you make a really good point there about the money, because we did have a bit of backwards and forwards. And I think in the end I sort of said, okay, let's start at this level, but your program is going to be worth more than what you've currently put it out there for now. But what you put it out there for, it's more than what you were going to sell it for, and you feel happy about that now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
And it's definitely worth the money, and I say it's worth more. And I know that we're going to be moving your numbers up. I would imagine before we end our coaching sessions, we'd have reevaluated those numbers and looked to move them up again, because you will see the value yourself, which is the critical thing, because you've got to believe it as well when you're speaking to clients. So just in closing then, Jackie, so we've covered a few bases here. Maybe just summarize your whole experience, if you could, in just maybe a couple of lines of how you found it so far. If you could maybe just summarize that, possibly.
Okay. So I would summarize it like this. Here I am, a nurse, no experience in the fitness arena, made a decision. I'm going to do fitness, got started, went through my own training, came out, started a program, started a company. And with prayer, for me, God just put the right people in my life that can really take it to where it needs to go. Because my whole goal is to impact and change as many lives in the health and wellness industry as I can. On top of I want to make money as well. I mean, of course, I want to have a real business. Sure. And I want it to just be something that people can see. So, but going through the experience with you, Eric, has been just life-changing for me, because this is what I needed to really feel good about what I worked so hard toward. Yeah. I worked so hard toward this company, and then to be able to find you in a matter of a month or whatever, get into a program that I see that could change any fitness person that wants to do a company. It could change their lives. And I do recommend it to anyone, and I will recommend it to anyone.
Oh, thank you.
I've gone through in a very short time, had some major success, and the best is yet to come. Yeah, the best is yet to come. I'm just starting with you. Yeah. By the time we complete, oh my God, people won't be able to afford me then, because I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Then I'll feel so good about it, and then they will feel good. Yeah. So it's building my confidence up so much, because I was so insecure about asking people for money during the pandemic. They don't have it. This person doesn't have it. They're a single mom. I was going through all of that. Yeah. Trying to help everybody, but you can't help everybody, but you can help as many as you can. Yeah. And I feel good that going through this program with you, I will be equipped to be able to launch, and not launch, but just to be able to continue to move my business and my program in the right direction and have major results. Yeah. And for that, I think this is something that I really think people should take a strong consideration and really take this program. If you are out there at all, anyone that is doing this, I truly believe they need to just stop and have a conversation with you and become a part of this program, because it'll change the trajectory of their programs as well.
Well, and thank you for saying that. And I was going to say, if somebody was listening to this now as a personal trainer who is maybe a newbie, or maybe they have been doing it for a little while, or maybe they're experienced and they're thinking, I've heard about this high ticket stuff, this high ticket fat loss and high ticket weight loss, and I know there's this, there's that, and this guy's saying he can do it in a day. That can't be true. What would you say? And you've already said a few nice things there, which I really appreciate. but specifically somebody listening to this now thinking, what would you say to that person that's now listening and maybe sat on the fence a little bit?
Yeah, I would say that you're looking at a trainer that had no ticket. How about that? I had no ticket price. I mean, I really was just giving services out to people. I think going from not being clear to moving to a high ticket business, I can market it that way now. Mm-hmm. I would say that every trainer that is serious about really moving their company or their program to the next level need to talk with you and really need to become a part of this program, because I come with no experience, but then you have people out there, and I would especially speak to those that have been out there in the industry, but still not having the success that they want. Mm-hmm. I think this program could give you that extra boost that you need. If you're not getting out there, if you're not moving the way you want, if you're the money isn't coming the way you want, this high ticket program here, this one will work. I'm fortunate to get it on my first try. Some of you guys out there have been doing it forever and it's still not moving like you want it. So I would say to anyone out there, Eric, that this would be the program they want to take. And I would encourage anyone in this arena that need help really moving that to that high ticketed, real serious program, they should partner with you. That's what I think.
Well, I hope that resonates with a few people. And look, it's been great talking to you today. And I say we're at the start of our journey. We've got some exciting things ahead. We've got a coaching coming up now, which is fantastic because it means what we're going to be doing now is, there's a famous saying I think it's by a chap called somebody Peters, and his phrase is fire and then aim. A lot of people spend a lot of time aiming, never getting out of the block. So what we've done is, you're out of the blocks, you're fired. And what's exciting for me going forwards is, I'm not going to be trying to cajole you to get out of the blocks. You're out of the blocks. It's now going to be real life, real time coaching in the real arena, dealing with real situations, which I think is just fantastic. And that's where I like to work with people, when they're actually in motion. Just like with weight loss clients, they need to get out the gate. They need to be doing things, trying things, getting things wrong, and then we can help. So really looking forward to doing that with you. And I say, I really appreciate your time today. And I'm sure we'll do some sort of follow-up call at some point. But no, I really appreciate your time, Jackie. Thank you.
Well, Eric, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you. I'm just at your feet, honestly, and how honored I am to be working with you. It's just amazing. I want to thank you, and forgive me again for doubting you in the beginning. But thank you again for this time. I'm glad to do whatever I can to support you as well. And I would just scream this from the mountaintops, how amazing you are. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. That's brilliant, Jackie. That's great.
All right, thanks.